Did you hear that? I think there's something moving in the next room. Everyone stay close and keep your lights up.
Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Thursday. It's the Moral Compass, the Fulfillment King, comic book writer Mark Poulton, and we're launching Universal's initiative over a decade in the making. We're going to talk about the journey bringing this book to life. It's been a long time. This could be a real quick stream. The book just went live over on Fund My Comic. Newsletter just went out. Guys, go buy all four covers, save $15. We'll go over the campaign too. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on a Thursday. We'll check in with the chat. I see Mark Pengren over there, as always, first in the chat. Give it up for Ice. Mark wants you to know, he's throwing up that pizza slice. Happy birthday, Mark Yoon. Mark said he might join us, but I think he took the night off. I sent the link to a few friends, but I think it's just going to be me. Real quick, stream will go over the campaign, tell you a little bit about the history. Next week, though, I'm going to have Jon Malin on talking Universals with me. That's going to be fun. I don't think John and I ever really talked about working on the book before. And I know you're going to say, "Oh, well, he's the main artist on the book." I was like, "Yeah, it's a crazy story for this project, and we'll get into it." Also, Mark shared the link for Fund My Comic. Thank you so much. Go check it out. It's a beautiful looking book. Galaxies burn as Earth's mightiest heroes unite against cosmic conquerors in an epic battle for the future in this exciting new book series. Yeah. So let me bring up the campaign page. Here it is up on Fund My Comic. Just finished, maybe not just finished, maybe like a week ago, finished Writhe in Pain Fulfillment over on Fund My Comic. So if you haven't gotten your book yet, be on the lookout for that. I think that's like campaign number 32 I've fulfilled. So this could be a quick turnaround as well. The book is 100% done. Pencils, inks, colors, letters, all done. We're going to do. I just made this a storefront. It's not a campaign. I'm going to take 2 months to take pre-orders, and then we're going to send the book off to the printer. So September 23rd, we're going to send the book off to the printer. Usually my printer gets the books back to me in 2 weeks, so that'll put us like in the first week of October. I'll have the books and we'll start fulfilling. I want to have it done by first week in November, hopefully, because I'm getting married the second week of November, Friday the 13th, November 13th. So we're going to be moving quick with this book, guys. But let's go over the campaign page, and let's start with the trailer.
Galaxies have burned. Worlds have fallen. Now, Earth is next. This summer, prepare for Universal's initiative, the biggest independent comic event of the year. A brand new superhero graphic novel series where ancient mythology collides with cosmic warfare. Written by the award-winning father and son team of Mark and Chase Poulton, Universal's initiative is the culmination of years of world building, introducing the secret city of heroes known as Lumakenal, where the mighty Universals stand as Earth's last defense against two immortal conquerors who have spent centuries destroying civilizations in their search for the mysterious Life Stone. Leading the charge is Aguila, commander of the Universals, alongside unforgettable heroes, powerful villains, and the mysterious Atlas Bloodgore, a former galactic conqueror searching for redemption before the universe is lost forever. Bringing this epic story to life is an all-star creative team, featuring breathtaking interior artwork by Jon Malin, the legendary artist behind Cable and Thunderbolts, and rising superstar Dahl of the Rippaverse. Jon's pages are beautifully finished by Chris Graves and Don Edwards, while every page explodes with gorgeous cinematic colors by Anthony George. The book also features stunning chapter break illustrations from Spawn artist Adelso Corona. Choose from incredible covers by Joe Bennett, Deborah Carita, Jon Malin, and an oversized deluxe edition featuring an exclusive cover by comic book legend Rob Liefeld. This is more than a comic book. It's the launch of an all-new superhero universe created by creators who grew up loving comics and wanted to build the kind of epic adventures they always dreamed of reading. Universal's initiative arrives this summer. Join us from the very beginning, because when galaxies burn, heroes unite, legends begin.
There you have it, guys. Universal's initiative. Let's go into the story of how this project came about. I want to say it was around 2013. I'm gonna have to check with John when I talk to him next week. That's the only thing foggy is like when this project first came to light. I was like really down on comics. The last thing I had done prior to this was Savage Hawkman. Uh, I had been fired from the book uh, twice in the matter of a couple days. If you don't know that story, I was working on Savage Hawkman, New 52. I was scripting Rob Liefeld's stories. I had my day job working for a mortgage company, and I was leaving the office, and my phone was just blowing up, and I hadn't had a chance to check the notifications. And I got in my car, and I opened up my phone to Twitter at the time it was called X, and the first notification I see is a comment from a follower saying, "Man, I sure hope Mark has a job after this." And I'm like, "What is he talking about?" And then I just start reading comment after comment, and Rob had very publicly quit DC Comics, and he was tweeting about it on Twitter, and uh, DC announced that basically I found out online I no longer had a job. My editor hadn't reached out to me. Hours later, my editor then reached out to me and said, "Hey, I guess you saw the news." um, and I was heartbroken at the time. And like a day later, DC called me up, and it was the editor of Savage Hawkman. He was like, "Hey, I was talking to Mike Martz. Mike was like the top, I guess, editor over there that the other editors worked out under." And he goes, "I was talking to Martz, and we loved everything you guys were doing. So we said, let's just keep it as is. We'd like to invite you back to continue scripting the books, and for your troubles, we're going to double your pay." I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is going to work out for me after all." Um, but around that same time, Rob was also in a very public fight with Scott Snyder on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I don't suffer for this." So I quickly finished a script because I was like, if I get fired, I'm going to at least turn in one of these scripts so I can get paid this double rate. And sure enough, I turned in the script. I didn't hear anything. And then maybe a couple days later, my editor called me back. And he was like, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing good." And he was like, "Well, I hope you're doing good after this phone call." And he let me know that I was being fired. And he said he said the official reason was miscommunication. But off the record, he told me, which I'm just sharing now. It's years past. He said I was being fired in retaliation for Rob going after Scott Snyder, which is funny because now every year when the anniversary of that comes up, those two laugh about it, and I'm like, "You motherfuckers, I got fired over this." I don't blame Rob though. Rob got me the job. I feel like Scott Snyder's a little thin-skinned, but what can you do? It all worked out for me. I ended up doing Graveyard Shift, $1 million book, over the course of 5 volumes. But it would lead to this. So I wasn't doing anything in comics. I was a little down on comics. I was working on children's books, and this guy Hugo reached out to me. He had a company called Red Room Studios based out of Mexico. And he said him and his partner were starting a new comic book universe. They loved my work with Rob on Savage Hawkman, on Evangeline. They were huge Liefeld fans, and they wanted me to write some of these books. And they already had an artist picked out working on some of the books. I have to check with John on this, but I feel like it was like Marvel method. They gave him a story, and he was just drawing them. I don't think there was ever a script from those guys, but John was the artist, and John and I, we were already longtime friends. He had done some Evangeline backup stories for me, and by this time we were already like 2 or 3 years in working on Graveyard Shift in our spare time. But I had no idea Jon was working on the Universals at the time. So they said they would like to hire me to be the writer of these books, and they wanted to know my rate. And I reached out to Jon, and I was like, hey, I heard you're working on this project. What should I, what should I ask for? And he was like, oh, I just asked for my Marvel rate, and they matched it. It was asked for your DC rate. So I asked for my DC rate, and sure enough, they matched it. I was now the writer of the Universals, but it wasn't a book called the Universals. It was like the Universals was going to be all these books grouped together. And it started off with, I want to say the first book was, it was called The Croc. It's the big red guy, Atlas Bloodgore. I changed his name. I told Hugo when I acquired this that I was going to change his name because I just felt, in English, The Croc has sort of a different meaning. So Jon was working on that, and once I started getting the pages, I started adding the lore to it, and writing the dialogue and the narration, and they loved what I was doing. When Jon finished that up, that was like a 28-page story. Jon was already working on a 22-page story for a book called Team Cerberus, and they wanted me to write that as well, and I wrote that, and things were going great. They loved it. They had big plans for it. They were going to kickstart it. The two partners, one's an architect and the other owns a chain of restaurants in Mexico, and the restaurant chain is called Comic X. And it's like a Planet Hollywood, but it's all comic book based. Like there's huge superhero statues, all sorts of stuff. And in the store, they're allowed to use like DC, Marvel stuff, but they can't use any of that on the promotional products, promotional items like the menus, flyers, commercials, stuff like that. So they were using the Universals on the menus, on the signage in the restaurant, and in one of the restaurants. I don't know if they all had this, but one of the restaurants, there's a life-size statue of Aguila. He's the super soldier guy with the red shield in the red, white, and green costume. Life-size statue of him, just as your entrance to this restaurant. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. They actually built a restaurant in Arizona, but it's no longer there. All the ones in Mexico are still standing. I've talked to Hugo. He's the one who hired me to do this, but now the Universals is mine, and I'll get to that. As we were working on this, they were going to do more and more books, and they started a third one, and they were so excited. They hired a big name artist to draw it. I won't say who it is, but they paid him in advance to draw it, and I was super excited to like be working with this guy to write it. And he took the money and never turned in any pages. And you kind of, when I haven't heard good stories about this person afterwards, but it would have been cool to work with him. But that sort of stalled the project. And then this was like over a couple of years, because they're both like me. And when you're in indie comics, you have day jobs. So one was like an architect, like I was saying. The other was running the Comic X restaurants. And COVID happened, and then they stopped production on it. Their careers went in different directions. Hugo, the architect, he was busy building hospitals all over the place. And the other partner who owned Comic X, he was like fighting to keep his businesses alive because, restaurant business was really hurting during COVID. So the project just sort of stalled for a long time. Um, but every now and then I would check in with Hugo. He said he still had plans to release it. He loved our work. A couple times he reached out to me to see if I wanted to get started again um, on the project, but it never materialized. And then of course, John and I, we launched Graveyard Shift, and the book was huge, and that led on to the second one, which was even bigger. Third one even topped that, and they were keeping tabs on us, seeing everything we were doing. So I think it was like maybe a few years ago, I reached out to Hugo and we're like, hey, I know you said you have plans to release the Universals at some point, but I don't know if you're seeing what John and I are doing. I would love to acquire this and get it out there for people. And he was like, I think that's a great idea. So we worked out a deal where I acquired the 50 pages of Jon Malin artwork. There's a whole lot more artwork too. I acquired the Rob Liefeld cover in the deal, but I have pinups from Adelso Corona, who, inker on Spawn. I have several covers from John. I have all these character designs and concept drawings from John, all this back matter that eventually, hopefully this does well, and I make my money back. And I'd love to put an art of Universals out, because I have layouts, pencils, inks. They sent me the files, and this was finished work. But then I saw the colors that they did, and I'm spoiled because I for the last 7 years, Anthony George has been coloring all my work, and I think he's the best colorist there is. And I was like, oh, the colors aren't the best. I saw the lettering, and I was like, oh, the lettering's not the best either. But I worked with Dexter Weeks. I think he's the best letterer out there. I was like, that's fine. I can just recolor, re-letter it, and boom, I have 50 pages of this awesome artwork and story by me and John. And I got the files, and the colored letter files were like compressed. All the layers were like flattened together. And I was like, oh, do you have the layered files? And they were like, oh yeah, we'll get them for you. And nothing. Like, they couldn't find them. They were corrupted. And then I started going through my files, and for the longest time I couldn't find them. Eventually I did find some of the high res penciled artwork, but I had like all these other files, like John's pencils and his inks, but they weren't high res. And I actually talked to John like one time I was out in Michigan on what he thought I should do. And he was like, oh, why don't you just hire someone to do, because I think John's artwork's amazing from this era, but he calls it his Pinhead era. And he was fresh off Youngblood, and he did this. And I loved his Youngblood artwork. I could see like his Travis Charest influences starting to creep in during his Youngblood run. But he still considered it like his Pinhead era, where he's drawing people with tiny heads. He was like bringing someone to do finishes on it. So I started that process. I brought Chris Graves, my good friend Chris, and we had just done the first Ride and Pain book. And I asked him if he wanted to take a crack at it, and he started working on it. And I loved the combination of his inks over John's lines. It gave it, I thought, like a chunkier feel. Let's check in with the chat. I think we see the birthday boy. There he is. Mark Union. I just popped in to say hi. What's up, Mark? Happy birthday. Penguin says, it's funny now because Rob praises Scott Snyder daily now for Absolute Batman. Yeah, those guys made up. I'm happy for him. I wish I had gotten a couple more of those double paychecks though. Yeah, so Chris was working doing some inks over Jon's artworks. I really loved uh, how it looked, and I also brought in Don Edwards to do some finishes over. So I had a bunch of pages finished, and then as I was working through this, I found I actually had the the high res pencils or uh, high res inked pages, black and white, no uh, colors added yet, and I was able to supplement the ones I liked. I felt some of them still needed work because they were very rough, and I'll have to talk to Jon about this and asked if he actually like inked those pages or if they were just like the line work, the pencils were just darkened to look inked. Because I know that like that was a thing like some publishers were doing in the early 2000s. But Chris and Don did killer work, and then handed off to Anthony George, and the colors are just absolutely gorgeous. We're going to go through. You know what? Let's just go through the pages now. We'll share the rewards later. But I'm really enjoying talking about the journey of this book. So this is Jon's cover, inked by Chris Graves, and then Anthony George did the colors. My buddy Vince White did the logo for me, Universal's Initiative. Originally called Universals, but another publisher reached out to me, and they had the name Universals, and I thought I should change it up. I thought it was the right thing to do, which is funny because recently, I don't know if you guys seen this, Bleeding Cool announced that Mark Spears was doing a new book called Graveyard Shift from Keen Spot. And I had worked with Keen Spot before when Evangeline did the webcomic. It ran on Keen Spot, hugely successful. I signed at their booth one year for San Diego, signing Evangeline hardcovers. And a couple people had reached out about the Graveyard Shift, the new Graveyard Shift book by Mark Spears. And, I reached out to Mark and I reached out to Keen Spot, and Keen Spot responded back to me and Jon and said they just wanted to let us know that the book's actually called Mark Spears' Graveyard Shift, which I'm fine with. It's just that's what we even suggested, if they could just call it Mark Spears' Graveyard Shift. So there was some sort of differentiation between the two books. I mean, we've been around since our Graveyard Shift's been around since 2011. So I just thought it was in published form since 2011 with our preview edition back at Wizard World Philly. So I appreciate them doing that. I think they were all along were calling it Mark Spears' Graveyard Shift because all his books are sort of branded that way. Mark Spears Monsters, I forget Mark Spears Midnight Man. So yeah, I think it was just Bleeding Cool had announced the book with not the correct title. So that's a little sidetracked, but anyway, that's where the Universals Initiative name came from. Originally called the Universals. Hugo had it trademarked for Mexico, but not for U.S. So I just figured I'm going to just change the name. I thought it was the right thing to do. But that's Jon's cover. This is Joe Bennett's cover. Joe, artist on Savage Hawkman that I worked on with Rob Liefeld and Art T. Bear. Like to consider him a friend. I reached out to him, and he said he'd love to do this cover, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to blow it up. This cover, this is colored by Dan Kemp, by the way. I feel like it's Joe Bennett, but it's so Jack Kirby. I feel like with this pose, but especially this chunky leg in the forefront coming at you. This is actually my favorite part. Like all the ripples in the armor, showing off the muscles. That front leg is just so Jack Kirby. I feel like, but I love it. Probably my favorite cover of the bunch. And then also we got the Deborah Carita cover. This is inked by, oh, by the way, I own the original artwork for that Joe Bennett cover, inked by Shelby Robertson. Shelby sold me the inks. I own the artwork for this one as well. This is drawn by Deborah Carita, from Rippaverse fame, Yaira, inked by Greg Poulton, artist of Black Owl, and I own the original artwork for this as well. Gorgeous cover. Deborah just does great work. But this shows off some of the other heroes. This is Aguila. He's the one that there's the life-size statue outside the Comic X restaurant. Agent Machete, and then Eva, and they're outside the Universal's headquarters, which is this huge Mayan temple. And then, of course, the Rob Liefeld cover, colored by Juan M., who Rob does a lot of work with. Classic Rob Liefeld. I'm spoiled. I've had a lot of my books have Rob Liefeld covers. My entire Evangeline run had covers by Rob. My entire, most of the Savage Hawkman had Rob covers. So I've been very fortunate. My favorite comic book artist and, my hero has done a lot of the covers for my career. So I'm very fortunate. But yeah, this is the cover for the deluxe oversized edition. So if you've gotten our black and white oversized editions, it's going to be the same size. It's going to be in full color though. Maybe eventually I'll do a black and white edition, but for now, the oversized edition is in full color. Oh, sorry, I'm losing my voice, man. Yes, Sizzlin, Shelby Robertson. We got Sheldon Martin in the house. He says, "Happy birthday, Yoon." What's up, Sheldon? Thanks for joining us, man. So we got this Rob Liefeld cover. I'm going to show off some of the pages that have been redone. Sorry, I've talked so much. I'm going to end up losing my voice. I'm not a talker, guys. But these are Dan Dahl pages. So I had these 50 pages from Jon, but the more I thought about it, like this was intended to be several individual books that was leading up to the Universals. I felt like as a 50-page book, it would not work. So I've been looking for an opportunity to work with my son Chase. So we decided to rewrite everything. We were going to have to re-letter the book anyway. So I decided, let's rewrite everything and we're going to recraft this story for and use these two issues that Jon did to be part of the first book of a 3-book series on how the Universals came together. This is Universal's Initiative. Second book's going to be called Universal's First Strike. Third book is Universal's War. So my son and I, we crafted this story. I actually, around the time I was on Savage Hawkman, and I was like fighting to keep my job, I had come up with this idea for a character called the Mayan, which I never got to pitch, but I always loved that idea. And I incorporated this into the story. In the big picture, the Mayan story is a story about a father and son, which I thought was appropriate writing with my son. The Mayan is the birth of this age of superheroes. The city of heroes, Lumac Nel, in Mexico. This is where he buries the life stone, and it transforms their land into this high-tech, futuristic city of heroes, and that's where the Universals operate out of. I had always been a fan of Dan Dahl, his artwork, back when he was known as Booty Juice, and I reached out to him, which is funny because Dan didn't think I was a fan of his, but on the contrary, I loved his artwork. At one point, Dan was going to be the regular artist on Graveyard Shift. After Volume 3, which was my favorite, I think my favorite volume, just from story-wise, Aaron Alfecci did the artwork on that, and he was killer, and Jon and I were both happy with his artwork, but he was also drawing Jawbreakers at the time, so he was running a little slow, and we needed someone to keep a faster pace. and Jon had found Dan Dahl, and Dan was going to be the artist. I think he laid out the entire book, but I don't know what happened. Dan left the book. I don't know if he got cold feet or what. It's Graveyard Shift 4 is a huge book. We introduced 50 new characters. It's not like just a team book. It's like a universe book. So it was very. I think it was a daunting task. I think Dan would have handled it beautifully. He drew a lot of characters here for the Universals, but he ended up backing out, and that's when we went with Jose Garcia, who I think did a great job as well. Definitely different style takes, but Dan Dahl, I got to work with him on the Universals. I hope to work with him on book 2. But killer pages. This is another page by Dan Dahl. These are our villains: Starcross and Stardoom, twin brothers, evil as can be, and the Life Stone was stolen from them, and they've been searching the galaxies, burning down civilizations to find it. So that gives you a little insight on the story. And then we see some pages by Jon. This page was actually, the finishes were done by Don Edwards. The Don hosts the studio, if you guys don't know. But he did it. He really surprised me with like, I gave him like a few pages as a test to see how he did. And man, he killed it. So I just kept giving him more and more pages. And let's talk about these Anthony George colors. Just gorgeous. Best colorist around as far as I'm concerned. And great letters by Dexter Weeks. Yeah, everything's lettered. Everything's done, guys. The files are all ready to go. September 23rd, we'll send this book off to print after a 2-month pre-order. Unless the book does really great right out the gate, then I'll send it off to the printer even sooner. But yeah, Don killed it with the finishes. I think he added his own, I think, flair to it, but definitely kept Jon's lines. You can definitely tell it's Jon's artwork. And then this is a page finished by Chris Graves. This is my favorite thing. We always joke about it, but I love huge 90s style moons, and the more craters in them, the better. So this is from the Team Cerberus story. Jon working on this. His Youngblood looks very very coming. You know, they come through in this, like the stylized headgear, the swords off the back of the characters. This guy's lethal, and his partner right there is Jaguar. Fantastic work. And then another page. These are like the henchmen for our villains, Stardoom and Starcross. Very cool look to these. I feel like they have a very DC Comics look. I'll have to ask Jon what his inspiration for these guys were. But I love it. And again, the colors by Anthony George, just absolutely gorgeous. This is, without a doubt, the nicest looking, most polished looking comic I've ever worked on. It's just so slick. The artwork is gorgeous. So that's I wanted to highlight some of this artwork, guys, and man, it's just killer. So by the way, we got 72 people watching on X, YouTube, Facebook. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, hit notifications. We're almost at 2,500 subs. Every Sunday, we have the Haunted Pizza Horror Movie Club. This week we're talking American Psycho. Can't wait to watch that film again. Last week we talked Michael Bay's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I forgot how great that movie was. Absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen it, go back and watch it. It's amazing. Stars Jessica Biel. She's a great final girl in it. But yeah, let's check out this campaign page. It's very simple, guys. Very easy to follow along with. Not a lot of rewards for this. But we'll go through the page first. You know, I kind of gave you guys the rundown. It's a 64-page book, square bound. There is that oversized deluxe edition with the Rob Liefeld cover. some more amazing Jon Malin artwork right here. I've taken you through the story. The twin brothers, they're on the search for the Life Stone, and um, the leader of the Universals, Aguila, he's had a vision. One of the members of the team has come to him with a warning, telling him that the twin brothers are coming for the Life Stone. He needs to assemble heroes because their army is massive. So they got to be ready for war. And this is, how we get into the story with Atlas Bloodgore, the Croc, also the story with Team Cerberus. These are guys that they're trying to recruit for this huge war. Here's another page of Jon's, finished by Chris Graves. Beautiful work here. And then this is the page that the Don did finishes on. And then another one by Chris Graves that we took a closer look at, as this one as well. So Meet the Creative Team, written by me and my son Chase, my favorite co-writer to work with. We were nominated for a Ringo Award for Pizza Tree back in 2017 when he was 7 years old. Started in the business at the top. We won a Moonbeam Award for Best Kids Graphic Novel with Pizza Tree, and soon lost interest. And who can blame you? 7 years old and you start your career as an award-winning writer. Every now and then I try to, get him to work on stuff with me, and he's helped create Bazooka Dog, Slither. He wrote a little Graveyard Shift story with me, and his interests are pulling him elsewhere. He's like so into music right now, but I wanted to get hopefully one last story with him. So he helped me with the Universal's initiative, gave me a lot of great feedback with my outline to rewrite it. So he's helping me with this. I mentioned Jon Malin, of course. He's been on this project since the very beginning. He's been on this project longer than me. He did 50 of the 64 pages. Incredible artwork. I know he calls it his pinhead era with the tiny heads, but I love it. I love his artwork. And he was fresh off Youngblood when he was doing this. I was fresh off my Evangeline and Savage Hawkman run when I first started, but I completely rewrote it with my son since then. Here's his cover again. The colors by Anthony George really highlight this, especially like the big energy burst right here coming out of the staff. Gorgeous. Dan Dahl, I brought Dan in to draw the opening chapter of this, and he absolutely killed it. I've talked to him. I said I'd love to bring him back when I do book 2. I think he's on board. I know he's starting to blow up. He's doing a lot of covers for Rippaverse, but hopefully Dan will join me again for Universal's First Strike. Gorgeous artwork, guys. And then I reached out to my friend Joe Bennett from Savage Hawkman, asked if he could do this cover. He's known for his Immortal Hulk run. I wanted him to do the big hulking character, Atlas Bloodgore. He knocked it out of the park. Inked by Shelby Robertson, colors by Dan Kemp. It's my favorite cover. I own the original artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning. All the covers are stunning though, especially this Deborah Carita cover. I reached out to her as well. She was on board. She gave me a bunch of different layouts to choose from. I love this. I thought it was very, this is like the trinity of the Universals, the 3 biggest heroes, Aguila, Eva, Machete. I thought it was a very iconic pose. I love the Mayan temple in the background, and then Greg Paulson's inks took it to the next level, and then Dan Kemp colored this as well. Gorgeous. And then of course my hero Rob Liefeld, got a cover from him. Hugo, when he was doing the Universals, he actually had hired Rob to do the cover before I acquired it. So I was writing the books at the time, and I remember how excited I was, hearing Rob was doing a cover, especially knowing Hugo was such a, I think Rob is Hugo's favorite artist as well. So he assembled a team of Rob's proteges, me and John, and then he got the cover from Rob. I thought that was very fitting, and to you know bring even more of that Rob uh, uh, you know fandom in. Anthony George, who John and I met on the Rob Liefeld message boards. He's the colorist of the book, and a lot of people who from that message board have done work. Adelso Corona, one of the things I've inherited when I took over the project, Hugo had hired Adelso to do a bunch of pinups. Adelso is now blowing it up. He inked Brett Booth on Spawn. He's done a bunch of other amazing artwork. But I have all these pinups. They're going to serve as the chapter breaks between Dan and John's different chapters. And I have several, so it should carry over, I think, into the books 2 and 3 as well. And I have so many like John covers and pinups. John should always be involved in this project as well. With covers at the least. And like I said, I have all this back matter of John's pencils and concept drawings and sketches that I think I could put out. If not an Art of Jon Malin book, I could definitely put an Art of the Universals out. But there's Rob's cover, oversized deluxe edition. If you've supported my books in the past, like Writhe in Pain, saw the oversized black and white edition, same size except it's going to be in color. Maybe when we get to book 2, we'll start doing the black and white books. But for now, oversized edition is in full color. Has the Rob Liefeld cover, gorgeous, iconic. Again, 100% complete. Pencils, inks, colors, letters, all done. Dexter Weeks killed it on the letters. This is the slickest looking book I've done. We'll have the files done and ready to go September 23rd. We'll send it off to my printer. It's usually a 2-week turnaround time. So that'll put us the first week of October. We'll get the books back and we'll start fulfillment. I got to have this fulfilled before November 13th, guys. I'm getting married then. So you'll have your books real soon, real soon. If this is your first chance, checking out my work or checking out John's work, I thought, here we go. Add more Poulton and Malin to your collection. I have a short amount of sets, volumes 1 through 5. These are first printings at cover price. Let's bring in some new Graveyard Shift readers, guys. Or if you're missing issues in your volume, in your collection, or if you caught on to the project with the collected editions, here's your chance to get first print copies. All 5 volumes. $125 will be signed by me. You might get lucky. Some of them will be. I might have some still signed by John. And then since Chris Graves worked on this book as well, I thought let's get some more books from Poulton and Graves out there. Get Writhe in Pain volumes 1 and 2. This Universal's book's dripping with 90s goodness. So is Writhe in Pain. Check it out if your first time, you've never checked out these books. They're absolutely awesome. Chris is the next Greg Capullo as far as I'm concerned. His artwork is off the charts. So that's it. That's all the different tiers. Very simple, guys. And I said if you got all 4 covers, you would save $15. That oversized edition with the Rob Liefeld cover, that's a $40 book. But if you get it in the set of 4, you're going to save $15. It's only $100 for all 4 covers. Otherwise, the Malin covers $25 separately. The Joe Bennett covers $25 separately. The Deborah Carita cover, $25 separately. And then the Rob Liefeld oversized deluxe edition, $40 separately. All the books, my son and I, Chase, we're going to sign them when they come in the first week of October. So you'll have them signed by me and Chase. And then there's that Graveyard Shift tier if you want to, get a set of Graveyard Shift books, or $50 you can get a set of Writhe in Pain books, Very simple, very straightforward. We got Rick Sailor in the chat. Let's see what's. Mark Penguin says Enrico needs to do a little graveyard shift story. Oh, that would be amazing, man. I want to. I know. Rob announced the new Evangeline book. I want to see if I can get a Haunted Pizza exclusive for that and get Enrico to do an Evangeline cover. I feel like he would really kill it on that. A Haunted Pizza Evangeline cover. There he is. Rick Sailor in the chat. What's up, Rick? Thanks for joining us. See you at Neo Comic Con. Where's that at? Is that in the Ohio area? Rick says, got some bangers. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we have a Rick Sailor, Mark Penguin meetup. The Secret Weapon, Hawaiian Heat. Yeah. Dex, his letters are so good, but people don't realize how good of an artist Dex is, too. We got to get him on more covers. Chris is a beast. Yeah, Chris Graves. Chris is killing it, man. He's doing a lot of stuff that you guys don't know about. Doing like video game work. Did some work for Netflix, I think. But we'll get him back soon for Ride in Pain. The last Ride in Pain was, a little late. Well, a lot late. But we've talked. We're going to have the Volume 3 fully done before we take pre-orders. And the way I have this book, it's fully done. We're going to take 2 months pre-orders. My next book, Bounty Hunter and the Two Extreme Monster Trucks, I'm supposed to get the colored pages back Saturday. And then Dex is going to letter it. And that book's going to be all done. And I think, like, that I want that to be my business model going forward. Have books done and then do a 2-month pre-order, quick turnaround. It's so much stress. It's stress-free. This was the first launch I never stressed about because the book's done. My work's done. I know sometimes I work with people who can't work that way. They need some money up front so they can, just work on their comic work. But for me, I would like to have the books done going forward and just do this two-month pre-order. We'll keep the books up for sale. I'm also having my website revamped. If you haven't visited hauntedpizzallc.com, you'll notice it's completely made over. Spotlight Marketing did an incredible job on it. Go check it out, guys. Penguin, if you could share the link for it, I'd appreciate it. But Paul Brown, who did the website, floored me. He did the about section where it just used to be a short little paragraph about me and my son starting the company. It's now a timeline on the history of Haunted Pizza, and it's really in depth. I absolutely love it. But this weekend I'm going to be setting up the payment portion of the website, and you'll be able to order books directly from the website. Before it sent you to a link to my Etsy store, we're going to get rid of Etsy, and you're going to just be able to buy the book straight from the website, which I think is going to be great. Since Paul's redone my website, I've been noticing a ton more traffic, and he talked me into doing the website. Kind of built me up, telling me I was the most prolific writer from our area. I needed a website to represent that, to portray that. So he did a killer job, makes me look even better than I could imagine. Finger says, yep, Neo equals Northeast Ohio. It's an indoor sportsplex in North Olmsted, Ohio. Oh, that's awesome. I'm doing Super Jersey Comic Expo, and that's inside an indoor sportsplex as well, like a big domed bubble almost. Looking forward to that. It's run by Paul Brown, who owns Spotlight Marketing. He's been very supportive of my monster truck books. Penguin says, Matt Horak, who drew The Covenant for Rob, will be there. Oh, that's awesome. I love The Covenant book. That's an underrated Rob Liefeld book. He was doing like biblical adventures. Really cool stuff. Very, very violent book. Oh, thank you, Mark. Go check out Haunted Pizza LLC website. There it is, guys. Click on the link. The store will be up hopefully weekend. Got a busy weekend. We'll talk about it before we sign off. We're almost at an hour. That's all I wanted to do, guys. Short little stream. Next week we'll have Jon Malin on talking Universals. I'm looking forward to that because even though John and I worked on the book, we never really talked about it much, except at the beginning, like when he was, coaching me on what to ask for my page rate, which is crazy because I got paid to write these and then I acquired the project and I rewrote it and now I'm releasing it. It's pretty cool. This has been a project very near and dear to me for years, and I always wanted to see this in print, and now to publish it under Haunted Pizza, rewrite it with my son, and bring in a lot of people that I've love working with, always wanted to work with. Covers by Rob, Joe Bennett, Deborah Carita. I brought Chris Graves, Don Edwards in. Dexter Weeks on letters. Dan Dahl. Finally got to work with Dan since Graveyard Shift didn't work out. So it's awesome. But I can't wait to talk about all this with John. I'm not even, I'm sure we'll shield the book, but I'm just interested in talking to John because he was on this project before I ever was. So I want to pick his brain on, he was helping plant the seeds to this universe. I wonder if he even knew about the restaurant aspect of it, that these guys are on the menus still for the characters that he created. Dynamite lineup, says Rick Saylor. Thank you so much, guys. Go check it out. Bunch of killer covers to choose from. Get them all. Save $15. Get that oversized deluxe Rob Liefeld edition. But that's going to do it for now. Oh, I was talking about my busy weekend. Tomorrow, I'm taking my future stepson, Chase, to the recording studio. He's working on his very first album. I'm excited to watch him. I'm so proud of him. He's so talented. He's going to be teaching my son guitar later this summer. But he's working on his album, so I'm going to be in the studio watching him. And then Saturday, my yard sale that I've been talking about forever, finally going to happen. I think John Stinsman, who lives nearby, he's going to stop by. A lot of people are interested because I'm selling a ton of action figures. When I finished my toy room, everything that didn't make the cut was being sold. So there's a ton of toys, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Guys, come out to Seoul. I'm your hookup. I got a ton of wrestling figures. I got Dungeons and Dragon figures, some G.I. Joe figures, some Hot Wheels cars, action figure play sets. If you're a figure photographer, I have the play sets that I use for the American Ninja X U.S. Assassin toy commercial. I have them for sale. They're expensive sets, but I'm just selling them. Everything's priced to sell. I want to get rid of them. My comics I've been holding on for a long time. I think it's finally time to let go of them. I told Missy, my fiance, recently. She asked, she told me I didn't have to sell this stuff. And I told her I don't really. I do have like a toy collection. I do have comics, but I'm not a comic book collector anymore. I collect memories, going to events, doing cool stuff. That's what I want to collect now. So I hope to pass those comics and toys on to people who will appreciate them. So what type of Hot Wheels you got? So it's just a small little set of some cars. I'm a huge monster truck collector. I'm keeping them. That's my favorite thing to still collect, my monster trucks. But I do have some duplicates, and I have a ton of those Crush cars that they come with, and then some regular Hot Wheels. They're all priced in a lot. Nothing like vintage or anything. But I'm keeping my monster truck collection intact. Oh, Wicked Echo, we got the Don in the house. What's up, Don? I was singing your praises earlier. Go check out the replay. We'll have to have you on one week to talk about your experience working on the book. That would be great. I'd love to get your take on working on this project. A lot of great talents worked on this. So I'd love to see if I could get everyone on at some point to talk about working on it, because this was like it's been I guess a 13-year process for me. I'm still not sure of when I started working on this, but to finally see it done and ready to go, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. I'm happy we're finally here. I'll be even happier when we send it off to print. So, Don, we'll have to get you on here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Go support the book. Go share out the links. If you're in someone else's chat tonight, go share it, please. Or just recommend the book to a friend. I appreciate you guys. And we'll be back Sunday for Haunted Pizza Horror Movie Club. Thanks for watching.